Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started this morning because we have a lot of great information for you today. So welcome again, everybody. Thank you to Fred Cartier for being here. He videos all of our meetings. You can now see them on our website. So if you miss a meeting and don't feel like you're going to miss good information, you can go onto the website and find them. They're also on YouTube, and Fred donates his services to us, so thank you very much, Fred. This afternoon, the Baptist Home is having a groundbreaking for a new sensory garden at 4 o'clock, and they would like to see the community there, so you're all invited to that. Tomorrow night is number 3 in our concert series, and it's the T. McCann Band. They're an Irish Celtic group. They're supposed to be phenomenal. I haven't seen them, but I know Vicki saw them this weekend. And thank you to our sponsors. This was a real community effort putting this together. So thank you to Rosemary from Rhinebeck Bank, Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, the Rotary, the Lions Club, Rugies, and the UPS store all helped us put this on this year. So if you would please take a flyer with you, if you have a place in your work office that you have, an employee lounge, or if you're willing to put one up. We have 2 more concerts, so they're on the table over there. I would really appreciate it. What else? And then August 2nd, we're doing a family event out at the Gilbert Farm Rec Park. So it's a driving range off of 9G in Hyde Park. It's Friday, 4:30 to 7, $10 for adults. Children under 10 are free for unlimited swings. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and they do a promotion all the time where it's $5,000 if you get, I don't know how it works. Yeah. Anyway, but you have a chance to win $5,000. So if you're a good golfer, come on out. Please bring your friends. It's not necessarily we don't want it to be a chamber event. We want it to be a family event. So please bring everybody out for that. But we do need RSVPs, so let me know. So at this time, I'd like to ask our president, Sean Kemp, to come up.
Thank you, Colleen, and thank you to everybody for coming out to today's breakfast. It's a July breakfast, so this is actually a really good turnout for a breakfast because it's hard to get out in the summertime, and I really appreciate everybody showing up, and the people that are here for the first time. I really hope that you continue to come out to the events. The Chamber is a great resource that you can tap into to help bring your business to the next level. I also want to thank the Rhinecliff for hosting the breakfast. They always step up to the plate and allow us to have our breakfast here when we don't have other venues, or when we do have some dinners and things like that. They've always been a great support, James and his staff. I think that they're celebrating their 5th anniversary, if I'm not mistaken, which is a great thing. Speaking of 5 and anniversaries, Tom Jasewicz, our board member, is about to celebrate his 5th day of being married. He just got married this past Friday, so give him a round of applause. That's always a good thing to see him alive and well 5 days later. I also have on my list of topics to touch on is the Mad Dash, and Joanne Clark, I don't know if you had anything else that you'd like to add regarding the Mad Dash.
Well, as you mentioned, the year 5, this is our 25th anniversary, which for a not-for-profit organization to run anything for 25 years consecutively is really a feat in and of itself, and I can only thank the community for sponsoring it. Last year we raised $16,000 with sponsorship and with the runners, and you are able to sponsor for as much as, I think it's $150, and it goes up to as much as you would like. You could have the entire T-shirt for $10,000 or a crown. We would have your name put on it and give it to all the runners. You have the ability for promotion on the T-shirt itself, as well as in the goodie bag, as well as posters, as well as being on our website. The thing about this race is very different from some of the other fundraisers. Every single penny stays within the Hudson Valley. We support a number of not-for-profits, including Camp Ramapo, the ASPCA, the Heart Association, Cancer Society. We raise the money to give the money away, and I can say that fully because I am on the outreach committee, which delegates delegates which organization gets the money after they have applied for grants. So when you're making a donation, it is not for some place outside of New York, let alone outside of the Hudson Valley. So if you can keep that in mind, and I know sometimes it's hard times, but if you think of it as helping your neighbor, we'd appreciate it very, very much. And the forms are on the table. So thank you.
And thank you. Today's speaker is Thomas LeGrand, and it's an honor and a pleasure to welcome him to today's breakfast. He's a lifetime resident of Rhinebeck. He's an accomplished business person. He's real estate development, real estate sales, but probably more importantly, he's a leader in the community. And most importantly, I noticed that he's a past Rhinebeck Chamber of Commerce president, so that's something that I definitely can respect being in this position. But today he's here. He's serving his 6th term as chair of the board of the Dutchess County Community College Board of Trustees, and he's going to speak about what a great resource the community college is and the different ways that our businesses can benefit from the community college. So please welcome Tom LeGrand.
Morning. What a beautiful day to be at the Rhinecliff Hotel. As Sean mentioned, I was for probably 10 years president of the Chamber of Commerce back when it wasn't quite the organization it is today. And as I was telling a couple of people this morning, when I took it over, we were kind of in a tough spot because the gentleman that was there prior to me, he came up with this dues structure where everybody was going to pay $300 a year, and a membership went from about 60 members to about 12. So we had to do a great rebuilding effort. And 2 gals that were involved with, 3 gals actually that were involved with me during my administration. One was Barbara Schreiber, who runs the Hudson Valley Department Store, Valerie Kilmer, who was the village clerk at the time, and Doris Maston, my dear friend, who was one of the partners in the Delamodder Motel. These gals were lightning bolts. They really made the chamber what it is today, and they really made Rhinebeck. They made the Rhinebeck brand. They worked diligently. The white lights you see it, everybody had. I mean, before it was everybody had every different color light, and Doris and Barbara Schreiber would go. They would have brutal fights with people at the First National Bank because they refused to do it. But you fast forward all these years, and you look at what a great result, what a brand it is, and Rhinebeck is known. And I think that's why they have the success that they have. And myself, I was personally just a figurehead. These gals did all the work, but they really put it on the map. So again, when you see any of these gals, thank them for the job they did. I've been in business in Rhinebeck for 40 years. My location, my office and my operations location is just north of the 99G intersection on Route 9. And I know for many years when I moved to that location, I'd be going to my location at 6 o'clock in the morning, and Sandy Williams would be pulling into the lumber yard at the same time. He's a great guy. He's done a great job, and he's been a great friend to me. I've done a lot of community service, and when I was, during the IBM downsizing, I was chairman of the Economic Development Corporation from 1992 to 1995, and at the end of that gig, Governor Pataki appointed me to the board of Dutchess Community College, and I've been a member of that board now for close to 20 years. Went through the different offices, and I think this is either my 6th or 7th year as chairman of the board. And what I say every year, we have annual elections of officers, and so far, I still got the gig. I'll let you know in a couple months how I make out. But what I say to my board of trustees every year when I make my remarks after I'm reelected, it is a true honor and a privilege to serve on that board of trustees. And it has nothing to do with the fact that, oh boy, I'm chairman of the board of a college, because most people don't know that. They call me when they need a septic system put in or they want to sell a piece of real estate. Most people don't know my affiliation. But the real experience is when you get to talk to these students and talk to their parents. And it's more than an education. They really get prepared for life at Dutchess Community College. We have a terrific, dedicated staff that they mentor these students, they prepare them for life, they give them a great education. And the interesting thing is that my allergies are bad this morning. I have to go down and sign the sheets when somebody celebrates 20 years, 15 years. You know, the little girl in the office calls me down, come on down, you got to sign some sheets. I go down there one afternoon about a year and a half ago, and I had 3 certificates I had to sign. And between the 3 certificates, I had like 125 years of service. 3 certificates. One of them was Carl Dente, as you know very well, Virginia. And when you talk to some of these students and you hear their hopes, their dreams, it's just absolutely an amazing place. We have the lowest tuition of any college or university in the state, and we've been the lowest for 14 years. And that's extremely important because I believe 70% of our students work and pay their own way. Mommy and daddy doesn't write them a check. They're doing it on their own. And I think 2 things. Number one, that's why I'm a big believer in keeping the tuition as low as it can be, but also I think it has to do with a lot like why we have a high quality student. They're paying for it. It's their money on the table. And we have a great bunch of students. They work hard, they study hard, and it really is, they respect the campus. You know, you walk the campus. When I go down there and I walk regularly with the college president, David Conklin, I mean, there's virtually no graffiti. There's no papers on the ground. I mean, it's just an amazing place. It first opened in 1958, and our first graduating class in 1960 was 66 people. Last May at our graduation, we gave out almost 1,200 degrees and certificates. We have an average student population, full and part-time right now, of about 10,500 students. It's an amazing place. We are rated one of the top community colleges in the state system. New York State has 30 community colleges. One of them is Fashion Institute of Technology, but that was a political deal. So theoretically there's 30, but there's 29 of us. The state university system, we are a unit of the state university system. We are accountable to them, and they rate us. We are rated with all the colleges in the state system in terms of cost to educate a student per year. We have the lowest cost in the state. Energy efficiency, customer satisfaction, and it goes right down. We are always between number 1 and number 3. I've never seen a rating below number 3. As I mentioned before, our tuition is the lowest of any college or university in the state. Our tuition right now is just $3,200 a year. We offer more than 60 academic programs. And here's an interesting fact that people don't realize. In the college world, in community colleges, they talk about the capture rate. Well, the capture rate is of students that graduate from Dutchess County schools. What's the percentage of those kids that go to the community college? We always get, of all the high school graduates, we get between 36 and 39% of the kids go to Dutchess Community College. Now we have the highest capture rate in the state, and when you look at our surrounding colleges here that we have, Ulster, Columbia, and Rockland County, we are anywhere between 12 and 14% higher than them. So we have a tremendous capture rate. We had record-breaking enrollment in the boom years between 2008 and 2012, and now it's tapered. Now we're flat. Most community colleges within the region, because the economy has picked up. There's a combination. The economy has picked up, so I think there's more opportunity for kids when they get out of high school. The analysis says that those jobs are pretty much in the service and retail sector, a lot of retail jobs. In the future, we don't expect big increases in enrollment because the high school population, or the student population in Dutchess County high schools has peaked and it's on the decline. I'm sure you read that, Arlington has closed buildings. Kingston City Schools is going to close a lot of buildings at the end of the year. There's a question whether even the Germantown School District will even be in business another year from now. So, I mean, this is a trend. I think that in the years to come, it'll continue to decline because we have a couple of issues locally. I mean, the cost of living is high here, so you don't see as many families wanting to move into the area. And the other thing with a lot of the land use regulations that they put in effect over the past 5 years or so will prevent subdivisions from occurring. So pretty much the student population will decline. The high school student population will decline. And so obviously community colleges in the region will suffer from that. We did put dormitories up. We're in this fall will be our second year of operation with dormitories. The gentleman who is our president, Dr. David Conklin, he is a visionary college leader. He's been down there for 22 years. He's the second longest serving college president in the state university system. Normally, college presidents have a shelf life of about 5 years and they're out the door. It's not an easy job. I've worked closely with him through his whole tenure here, and I've had a terrific relationship with him. I have great respect for him, and I think that his leadership has made really Dutchess Community College what it is today. He did see this coming, that there was going to be a decline in enrollment, and what the dorms did for us, it kind of helps us stabilize the enrollment. And by stabilizing the enrollment, we're able to keep our costs down because, like in many businesses, a college is a numbers business. And if you don't have your certain amount of student population, your costs are going to go up for everybody else. So by keeping the enrollment up, we're able to keep the thing affordable for everybody. We have our dormitories are 465 beds. It was built. It was finished in August of last year, and the first students moved into it, I think, the day before classes started, and we've been full. We had a waiting list, actually, and, like anything else, I mean, I knew our first year was going to be a little, up and down because we didn't have experience running dormitories, and, we had to boot some kids out. I mean, one thing we have down there, we have a zero tolerance policy. If you screw up, you're out. No second chance, and I think that message kind of resonated. So, it's kind of, I think, become a little more manageable down there with the dorms. People didn't think that, the first year we were going to fill them up. They thought maybe we would have like 15% vacancy, but we didn't. All the beds were full, and actually, we booted out, I think, 20 or 22 students, and we had a waiting list, so we were able to make a phone call, and they were able to fill them back up. So that's been an interesting concept with the college. Now, a lot of people that don't follow community colleges think that it's kind of a strange thing that we do have dormitories, but actually, out of the 30 community colleges in New York State, I think 20 now own and operate dormitories, and out of the 10 that are left, I think that 4 of them are either studying them or they're doing RFPs for dormitories. So you see a lot of it throughout the nation, and actually in New York State now, the majority of the community colleges do have dormitories. It does a couple things. It kind of adds a new energy to the campus because now you have more people to turn out to your events, more people to turn out to sports programs, and it kind of keeps a different element of activity there all the time, 24/7. So it's good. The other thing too is that because of the cost of many courses to put on now, all community colleges don't offer the same thing. Now, for instance, we have some aviation programs that we're the only one in the region that offer those programs because they are expensive and they're, you don't get a large turnout for it. But because we offer it, it's a great thing for Dutchess County kids, and then other kids from throughout the state, they will come to that program. We do have a couple of different degrees there, and I think we just started another one that really is gives a certificate to a student so they can go out and get a degree working in the airline industry. Nursing program. We have a terrific nursing program at Dutchess. If you're in one of the local hospitals, or if you're going to like any of these medical clinics, there's a 70% chance that the nurse that you deal with was educated at Dutchess Community College. And I've had a tradition with my boys since they were 3 years old. I used to take them, when my wife would get out to teach Sunday school, I would take my boys to the diner in Red Hook to have breakfast. And a couple of the gals up there were going to the nursing program and still working on Sundays at the diner. So the one gal in particular, when she got her degree, she was still working at the diner, and I said to her, well, how's it going? Oh, she says, great. She says, I got a job at Vassar, but she says, now I got to do 3 weeks in-house before they allow them to go out on the floor by themselves. And I said, well, how's it going? She said, well, what's interesting? She said, they love the Dutchess Community College graduates. I says, why is that? She said, because we know all the work. And that kind of summed it up. They liked the Dutchess Community graduates because they had great training and they had great instructors. Another footnote on the dormitories, the company Liscombe McCormick that were our architects on the project, the 3 partners were Dutchess Community College graduates that formed a lifelong bond, and then they formed their own company later on in life, and they were the design architects for us. So it was kind of a interesting thing. And their firm, located in Poughkeepsie, New York, 70% of the kids for them are Dutchess Community College graduates. So it's really kind of a nice thing. They've studied there, they got their degree there, and then they're back designing the dorms, and that's kind of a nice success story. Most of the students were probably 50% right now of Hudson Valley students. I think maybe 30% or 28% are Dutchess County students in the dormitories. They thought we were going to get more Dutchess County students, mostly northern and eastern Dutchess, but I think as time goes on, a lot of people don't even realize we operate dorms yet. So I think, in 5 years, we're probably going to be 60% Dutchess County residents and 40% out of Dutchess County residents. We did make another change too, that for students outside of Dutchess County, they have to have higher academic standards to get into the dormitories. We feel that might calm the situation down a little bit over there. We have, and I think Virginia's going to talk about this today, we do workplace training, big programs, great asset to a lot of different organizations. We've done training for IBM. We've done training for some of the medical companies in Poughkeepsie, a lot of different organizations that reach out to us. And again, it's customized workforce training that is done on a regular basis, and it's a real plus to many employers throughout the region, and we are good at it. I think about through the years, some of the different things that we've had to do. The U.S. Postal Service was putting an encoding center down in southern Dutchess, I think down in Fishkill, and we trained, I think, 500 or 600 people to get those jobs, and that was all part of the package. When the Postal Service came in and say, okay, if we put this facility here, do you have a way to train these people? And Dutchess Community College was able to step up to the plate, and it was one of the things. The county had to demonstrate that we could train these people, and we were able to do that. We have a budget of $65 million, and that is really a budget that stays mostly in your community. I mean, when people say to me, why does Dutchess County fare so well through hard economic times, it has a lot to do with the 5 institutes of higher education that are located. Because colleges, they spend a lot of money. Most of the money is spent is salaries, and it's local. It's local spending. So I think we spend about, on that $65 million, I believe 50% of it or more is just salaries. So that's money that's spent, all through Dutchess County, because the majority of our professional staff, not all of it, but the majority of them live in Dutchess County. We've had some notable alumni. Our former county executive, Bill Steinhaus, was a Dutchess Community College graduate, and our current County executive Mark Molinaro was a Dutchess County graduate. So I kind of say it's a prerequisite to becoming county executive, being a DCC graduate. A gentleman by the name of Jeff Smith, who has a large law practice down in Westchester County. Jeff was an interesting guy, a terrific guy, and a great benefactor of the college. He was the first, he was in jail for Rockefeller drug laws, and he got a degree from Dutchess Community College, and that kind of instilled from him a sense of learning. He went on, and after that, he graduated from Vassar, and then he got his law degree. And it's a real interesting story to tell. Bill Duke, he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a big black guy. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger's wingman in most of his movies. He was a DCC graduate. We actually had him down for commencement speaker one year, and he's so big, when we were walking around the campus together, they said to him, hey, Bill, who's this dwarf you got with you? And of course, Kelly Cash, who's on the Weather Channel giving us these inaccurate weather reports all the time, she's also a proud BCC graduate. And I'll tell you another thing that really is interesting. We graduate between 20 and 25% minority students. And when I'm up at the dais on graduation, we usually have our graduations. When the weather permits it, we have them outside, because we have usually, I would say, anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 people at graduation. I mean, it is a mob scene. And when some of these minority kids come up to get their degree, it's really heartwarming, because those families, I choke up when I talk about it. Those families go wild, because in their life, that probably most of those kids were the first ones to achieve higher education. And it's just unbelievable. And it's because we're there, we're priced right, and we give them the help they need. Another thing we're big on is we are big on helping these kids learn how to learn. When they come out of, unfortunately, when these kids come out of some of the high schools, and all the high schools aren't like Rhinebeck or Red Hook, all right? They have a hard time learning. They can't keep up with college level work. And we have a group down there, and all they do is they work with these kids and they help them, and it's just an amazing success story. I mean, you look at these kids that have gone through that program, the majority of them are able to graduate with a 2-year degree. The other thing people don't realize that we do, we have a great GED program. We administer a tremendous GED program, and we graduate, I think we graduated this year like 190 kids out of our GED program. I mean, basically that's like another high school that we've graduated. Another interesting thing is we have we've developed, and we were the first college in the state to do it, we have a transfer program with New Paltz for kids that want to go into the teaching profession. And it's a great relationship. We kind of work together. They meet with the people from New Paltz, so they know exactly what courses to take. And when they complete that course at Dutchess, they're guaranteed a spot at New Paltz. And that's a lot of the kids have taken advantage of it, and it's really a great program that's working well for us. And again, we're the first one in the state that's done that. And I think that we will probably become a model for other community colleges in the state to kind of partner up with the 4 years. There's kind of this thing sometimes, the 4-year presidents, they think they're slumming it when they're with the college, the community college guys, but the guy that's over in New Paltz, he's first class, and him and David Conklin have a great relationship. So why do I feel the college is so good? Well, I think for 2 reasons. I think that we've got a staff that's very dedicated to the students. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. The help they give these students, they prepare them for life, and it's not just an education. I mean, they really show them their way. We try to get every year a graduate to be our speaker at one of our events. I don't know if it's the President's Breakfast. All these colleges have a President's Breakfast once a year, and we usually get one of the graduates that is the speaker. And one year, we had a Rhinebeck resident, Michael Platty. Now, I don't know if you know him, Patty or Platty, I think Patty. He's he owns the big place on the end of Violet Hill Road, with the big red barn there. Well, he is one of the top partners in the New York office of one of the largest advertising firms in the country, and he was telling his story that he went to Dutchess, and I don't know what he was taking, but they were getting ready to throw him out. So one of the deans called him in the office, and they said, look, but they noticed that when he was always in class, he was scribbling and drawing on his papers. They said, look, you're in the wrong course. Now here's your choices. You either switch over to commercial art or you're out of here, or we're going to throw you out. So he switched over, and he's one of the most successful people in the advertising business in the country. And it just shows you the impact. I mean, our instructors are not there just to put in their 8 hours and go home. They really look at these kids, they evaluate their strengths, they evaluate their weaknesses, and they say, okay, where are you going to go? And it's just, it's an amazing thing when you're down there. I'm going to read you a little blurb from my, I get to give a speech to the graduates every year. And this was a gal that we have, well, one of the deans is retiring this year. And she sent a letter to me when she heard that he was going to retire. And this lady was a year 2000 graduate. She writes this letter after learning about the retirement of Dr. George Stevens. And I'm going to quote her. Dr. Stevens' insightful, factual, and candid instruction provoked and incited within me a quest for knowledge as I have never known before. I evolved into the black woman I am today, an advocate, educator, courageous, and perpetually inspired by a simple catalyst, a white man, Dr. George Stevens, teaching women about their history at Dutchess Community College. She goes on to say, I came to Dutchess Community College a broken person. I graduated an empowered woman with a degree and so many goals to reach. That's what goes on every day down here. And when I go to talk to the county legislature about our budget every year, I accompany Dr. Conklin, our president, down there. He talks about the nuts and bolts, and I kind of give the big picture. And what I always tell the different members of the legislature, that when you appropriate money to spend in the Dutchess County budget, and Dutchess County gives us, I believe, 16 or 18 million dollars, this is the best money you spend. Because, in my opinion, there's no other organization in Dutchess County that touches the hearts, minds, and souls of the residents of Dutchess Community College, of Dutchess County, like Dutchess Community College. I normally, when I go to my events, I say, raise your hand if yourself, a family member, a son or a daughter has graduated or attended Dutchess Community College. Let's do it right now. How many of you people have attended Dutchess or? And this is small. I mean, when you head south into Poughkeepsie, you usually get over a 50% rating. Anyway, that pretty much wraps it up for me. It's very nice to come here. I appreciate your time. And does anybody have any questions?
How many of your students go on to the other colleges in the area? You know, like Dutchess becomes the 2-year beginning for many students. They're not sure what they want to do, and then they go on to a 4-year.
We get a hype. I don't know what the exact percentage is, but all I can tell you is normally at any one time we have 500 Dutchess Community College graduates attending New Paltz. At any one time, we average 500, and
How many go to Marist?
we have a high. I don't know the exact number, but Dennis Murray has told me that we are locally his highest number of local kids go over there. Actually, my one son will be going to Marist when he finishes at my older boy. Will be finishing there, so we do get a high. I don't know what the number is with Marist, but I know it's real high with New Paltz. I mean, at any one time, we always have 500 graduates at New Paltz. Yes.
I just wanted to comment. I have 2 of my boys are spending their summer at Dutchess Community College in the summer camp program, which is fabulous. I have a 5th grader who's taking CAD camp and computer design.
Yeah.
Theater. It's unbelievable, and I really had no idea. And when I walk on that campus, it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
clean. I can't even tell you the program is fabulous. If anybody's looking for camp, it's a wonderful.
Yeah, if any of you have never been down there, it's worth taking a tour, and especially some of you that have attended, it'd be good to go down and walk around, because, I mean, it is just a gorgeous campus, It's clean, it's neat, it's modern. We've had probably, I think, close to $5 million worth of art donated that's on display down there, outside and inside. And the buildings, I mean, we've, in my tenure down there over the last 20 years, I mean, we've probably done, either close to $100 million of new construction and renovation. I mean, amazing. The science labs are unbelievable, and the library is just absolutely breathtaking. We also operate, I should mention this too, we also have a southern campus down in Fishkill off 84 that services that area down there, and that's that's more of a traditional classroom situation. It's not as nice as Dutchess, but it's a nice environment, and we offer a lot of courses down there too, and we get a lot of kids from the southern part of Dutchess County or the counties below it that attend over there. But it's really an interesting place. Any other questions?
Just a comment. My daughter's attending SUNY Oneonta, but she needed some extra coursework, and she is attending Dutchess Community to fill in, and she said she took earth science, and she said it was one of the most fascinating courses, very condensed, and she had to work very hard because I think it's only 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But she's, she aced it with an A, but she worked very, very hard. Something that hit it, oh, I'm just going to Dutchess. Well, you have no idea how difficult the course was. And
Yeah,
she
our
really
instructors are tough,
convinced
but the credits are accepted anywhere. I mean, we have great accreditation. It's not an easy school. People seem to think that, but it's really not. And I think that that's good. It shouldn't be easy. It is good. Yeah.
And she said his teacher is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Any questions, the teacher was there earlier or later to stay, to really help the students. That's wonderful.
The other thing that always impresses me too, we have a fellow, Mike Wida, who runs a student, I guess it's the student government organization, yeah. And he is, he takes care of all the different student organizations and that. But I'll tell you, the message that he constantly drums into these kids, community service. I mean, it's just amazing. Hurricanes in Florida, they're getting truckloads of stuff to go down there. Toys for Tots, working at the Lunchbox in Poughkeepsie, working in all these places. I mean, raising money for all these different causes. And what I've said every year when we have to approve his budget for the Student Government Association, and what I often say, what a great lesson. Teaching people that there are people in our community that need help, and to reach out and help them. There's a life lesson. These people remember that for the rest of their life. Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you very much for this. Thank you very much for this opportunity. You're doing a great job with the chamber, and I appreciate the opportunity. Now, Virginia, you're going to say a few words about workforce development.
Great. Hi, everybody.
Thank you. Nice to see you. She's great too. She's one of my favorites.
It was funny. Thanks, Tom. When I heard Tom was coming today, I said, when Colleen told me, I was like, oh, maybe I'll give him a shout and see if I can tag on to his presentation. So Tom is always wonderful and let me join in. And I wanted to really give everybody an opportunity this morning to hear a little bit about another piece of the college. Tom did a beautiful job describing us and what we do at the college, and everything he said is absolutely spot on. But we do have another arm at the college, and that's the arm I'd like to talk about briefly, which is our workforce training arm. And you do have a flyer on your table to describe it. And I am the point person for it, so if any of you'd like to have some follow-up, you ring me up and we'll sit down and talk. We, about 2,000 people a year, come through the college to do workforce training, development, skill builds, all these areas that they think their company might need. And what we offer is we really bring to our companies customized training at a really high quality level and at a very low cost. And we service all sectors of the county, so we have some of our folks here today who've participated in some of our programs, but we work with businesses, we work with retail, service, hospitality, healthcare, manufacturing. And all the professional groups as well. So it's really a question, not a question, but a thought that if you have an area that you feel you need to have training in any of your staff areas, we'd love to be able to work with you and help you put together a series or a course. These are non-credit courses. That's the other point that I'd like to point out. They're very targeted, very specific, and are offered at our site or at your site, depending on what you would need. And as I mentioned, last year we had 2,000 people come through our program. This year will probably be around 1,800. And what we offer are all kinds of courses. So I think that's the other point, is that very often we see a great need for supervision, basic management, soft skills, big on communication, collaboration, and business writing is one of the important topics that we see a great interest in lately. And so 2 clients we were talking to yesterday were just talking about that. But we also dig deep into the technical areas, so that could be very specific in any of the computer softwares that you might need, your staff might need work on. So we get very deep in technical, but we also range into soft skills as well. And the other mention that I'd like to tell you about is that we have received, I am very involved in working on a great number of grants. And we are always interested in bringing our companies in to get any funding for that. By the way, that's any of our organizations, doesn't have to be necessarily company, organizations qualify as well. And we have received a state grant. We have it in operation here at the college right now, and it would pay for 75% of any of the training that you would offer, so that the company, the organization would only pay 25%. So it's a really great opportunity to access some excellent programs at a very low cost for yourself. So we do have that operational right now, and I was just talking to some folks today here about we always propose new grants as well, and so I'm always interested in having anybody join us in those as well as we go forward. But right now we do have these funds, and they are available till next June. So I have been meeting with several of our companies and organizations, and we'd love to have you join us. So again, my flyer is on the table. And my name again is Jenny, last name is Stoffel, and I'd be happy to talk with any of you about any of your organizations to see how we could help you stay here and be more profitable and more successful, because we want all our organizations to continue to grow and develop. So look forward to talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you both, Tom and Ginny. Wonderful to have you here. I mean, Dutchess really is a wonderful, wonderful resource. So I hope that you will all take advantage of it. Excuse me. And our 50-50 this morning, just going to go home and go back to bed, is your take is $25. So we had $50 in donations. Thank you all very much. If you don't know, that goes to our scholarship fund. We give a $1,000 scholarship to a deserving Rhinebeck graduate. And this year, actually, it's been really nice because our last year's recipient, Karen Kirker, came back and is interning with me. So it's been a really nice experience. She's a great kid. Okay, so 617-670. Barbara Markell from John Ullman. Catch up with you later. So thank you all very much for coming this morning. Our next breakfast meeting is the Wednesday of the fair. We'll be at the fairgrounds. You would come in the Mulberry Street gate. I don't know if you were able to be with us last year. It was really a lot of fun. 7:30 in the morning is a beautiful time to be at the fairgrounds. And I think they did a really nice job. Taste Buds, who is a member and who's there, puts on a beautiful breakfast. So I hope you all will join us on August 21st at the fair. Thank you. Have a great day.